Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute Marvel. Today we're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again episode 3, as well as all the news and rumors that have come out. And there's actually been some interesting news to come out recently that we'll be talking about. So, I have nothing funny to say. I'm tired after a day with a bunch of driving. I'm Petter
Oh,
and co-hosting as always.
as always, the whitest of the two tigers. It's Greg, everybody. That's
Yep.
there you go. That's I kind of just filled that in for you. So, welcome back, everybody. Thanks
Yes.
for coming. I don't know who's out there, but thank you if you are listening, and we appreciate it, of course. I am going to pull up the thing I'm going to say as I always do. So, Petter,
Yes.
uh, if you're looking for ways to support us, which I know you always are,
Obviously.
you can find us on the YouTube channel. You just search for 10 Minute Marvel there. Give us a like and thumb smash that subscribe button. We always appreciate that. Find and follow us on Facebook and X at hashtag 10 Minute Marvel. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. Take it away, Petter. What do we got?
All right. So rumors, actually fairly light on rumors this week. First off, I'll do the one that was kind of a rumor, kind of a news thing. There's a few of those this week, actually. But this one I stuck in the rumor section where Spider-Man Noir is potentially going to be released in black and white as well as color. And I'm like, cool.
Like a Sin City kind of thing. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Frank Miller thing.
Yeah, or Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that could work
I think it's a
in the
perfect try, like place to
yeah.
try it or to do it.
Now, will Sony slash Amazon go for it? Who knows? But or will Sony be like, no, it has to be in color because the whole thing is basically black and white anyways, except for like tiny little bits. Who knows? It's
Right.
Sony.
Now, you said Sony slash Amazon. Did you
Yes.
say was it a Prime thing?
Yes. It's
Okay,
supposed to be on Prime.
that's
Yes.
what I thought. Okay, just double checking that.
Yep.
What else happened? There was some other.
There was supposed to be Silk as well, but that one I believe has been shelved for now,
Okay,
which is a shame
yeah,
because surprisingly, I'm more interested in spider things where there's a spider uh creature, like
character or
character, yes, character in it as compared to say Morbius.
see, I'm not. I'm all about like individual things that don't really tie together, but kind of tie together about a spider that don't actually show a spider man,
Mhm.
woman, child, or whatever. I wonder if is there anything out there you think that I could that fits that bill? Because man, I'd really love some superhero stuff with that type of theme.
Not sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know, maybe someday. I bet it'll be
yeah.
really awesome when it comes
One
out.
can hope. Yeah.
Oh, that was a mean jab. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So, this next rumor comes from Cosmic Circus that Spider-Man 4 main villain won't be a street level villain, which does that I'm trying to think of Spider-Man villains who aren't at least somewhat street level. Null,
I mean,
full stop. I know
I
there are others out there, but any of the Sinister Six are kind of
don't know,
street
sim like a
level.
symbiote kind of thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
that would
that's
be Null.
oh, okay.
Yeah, God of the Symbiotes. So,
Um, I was thinking like they
but
don't take it to null, but they go to like more of the symbiote.
yeah,
Maybe not null, but it's just yeah.
yeah,
Null's a pretty big dude for little Peter Parker to take down.
yep, yep. And we'll
So,
have some more Spider-Man 4 talk in the news section coming up here that we'll get to eventually. But let's get through the rumors first. There's a rumor that the Atlas Foundation could be the villains for Shang-Chi 2. Are you familiar with the Atlas Foundation?
um, it sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Help me
So,
out.
current members of the Atlas Foundation, we have Agents of Atlas, Lao. Um, yeah, not too many people that you would know from it.
Starting off
Uh,
that way for sure. Yeah.
yes, so I believe potentially Amadeus Cho does interact with them. But basically, they're kind of a secret society led by a villain called Master Plan.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting. It would kind of fall into line with, I guess, something that they could lean into some of the stylistic stuff that they did for the first Shang-Chi, kind of with like the combat style, stuff like that, again, with this organization.
Yeah. Although his sister's kind of a problem, so he could just
Yes.
work through that,
Yeah.
work through those family issues,
Hmm.
therapy, counseling, whatever.
Yeah. So then, My Sh Time to Shine Hello has a rumor that She-Hulk season two, at least like there have been some talks about that in Marvel Studios. I feel
Yeah,
like
probably.
there, yeah, it's maybe somebody has an idea and they're putting together kind of a bigger picture of like, this is what my idea would be, and then it will go to the big brass and they'll be like, this could work, or no, this won't work. So,
Yeah, that's a, I feel like that's a tough character to do something with at this point.
yeah.
But I'd love to see some more because I love Tatiana Maslany. So
Yeah, and I think
I
it's
wonder
one
if
of those
they,
things that could have a good second season. It
yeah,
just needs like a tighter focus and drive to the show.
yeah, if I agree, like I guess for that for She-Hulk, it doesn't really need to tie into the overall,
No.
if they could do something, if they want to do something similar as they did before, but
Yep.
like you said, tighten it up, give it a little bit more of a North Star, I guess, right?
Yep.
To guide them through. And then yeah, I think that'd be all right. I
Yeah.
just I thought it was fun. It was
Hmm.
entertaining, but
I say they do the trial of Eros.
the trial of air, don't do that to me. Now you're gonna okay, now you gotta explain it. There
Oh
you
no,
go.
that was so the character Eros, the one that we saw at the end of Eternals, played
Okay,
by Harry Styles, uh apparently, so if I remember correctly, like releases a pheromone or something that makes him makes women more interested in him, I believe is
sure.
what it is. And so he gets sued for I believe sexual harassment with She-Hulk defending him.
Oh, I do. That is enjoyable, actually. I mean, might as well use Harry Styles for something, and that sounds pretty spot on. So,
It would be, yeah, that I give the odds of that storyline happening a number slightly below 0.0000001%.
like those
Slightly below
odds.
that.
I like those odds. So you're
Yeah.
saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one, forgot to jot down, or maybe didn't have the information of where this rumor came from, but Mickey Madison being considered for an MCU role. So Mickey Madison is fresh off of her Oscar win for Aurora, I believe it was.
Okay. I did not see that
And
film, but
I have not seen that film either. So I am not sure who she could play. I mean, 25 years old, so I could see that falling into the category of let's get her into that younger Avengers,
Jubilee.
but Jubilee. Eh,
Mm,
no,
no, don't
no,
think so.
no. X-Men, I meant to say not Avengers, but no, because I think they'll want to have an Asian actress
Yeah,
play Jubilee.
she's of a different ethnicity, it seems like. Like
She is Jewish.
that is not really an ethnicity
Yeah,
per se, but religion then fine. Really, that's it. That she's just, I mean, she's an American actress. Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, I
yep.
guess
Born
I
in
don't know what.
LA,
Okay.
but I
Not
mean,
even close then.
her, obviously there's probably some different, there could be Israeli background somewhere in the family history or something like that, since they call out that she is Jewish, but who knows?
Yeah. Well,
Her
uh,
last name, actual last name is Roseberg, so, or Rosberg.
yeah, it says I'm not even this is Wikipedia, I guess
Yeah,
I'm quoting, but it's though she was raised as a non-practicing in a non-practicing household, however, she describes herself as very spiritual. So, all right.
yep,
She is not Asian, everybody. Just to clear the
yes.
clear the air with that.
Mhm.
Not
Uh,
gonna be Jubilee.
yeah, maybe a Kitty Pride.
Sure.
I can see that working. So, Then, final rumor before we get into actually a whole bunch of Secret Wars and Doomsday kind of news because the Russos did an interview or have been doing some interviews recently with Electric State coming out on Netflix. Um, but there's a rumor that the Thor core is reportedly going to show up in Avengers Secret Wars. They are kind of the law enforcement division of Doom's Secret War Battle World in the 2010 Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars. So I take some of those things with a fairly large grain of salt, as this could be somebody who's just like kind of combing through the comics to be like, okay, what groups or what sort of thing could
Sure.
happen.
Now I could I could really actually see the Russos wanting to do this, and they
Yeah.
have a bunch of Chris Hemsworths, right? I mean,
hmm
of course they'll have maybe
Beta Ray
Frog,
Bill,
right, Frog Thor,
Throg,
Throg.
um,
Um,
Jane Foster, Mighty
yeah,
Thor. So, yeah,
I could see them
there's
doing that.
yeah. So, all right, let's talk about a whole bunch of other Secret Wars things. First off, we didn't cover this. It either happened last week or the week before, but there was a rumored leak of like concept art for either Doomsday or Secret Wars. And I know some places kind of ran with that a little bit and were throwing up thoughts on that. We didn't touch on it for a couple different reasons. The big one being I don't like to cover leaks. I like to cover rumors and news because I don't want to spoil stuff for you. And I think, Greg, you're on the same page with that.
I am, even though sometimes I do anyways, because I
Yeah.
don't know any better.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree though. It's, leaks are, we don't want to ruin it, right, for
Yeah.
people. So,
And it turns out that these leaks are not leaks. These are, I mean, who knows what they are? If an artist just kind of was like, oh, I'm making some guesses at what Secret Wars Doomsday is going to be and just create some artwork around it,
was
probably
it,
looking for publicity.
right, was it AI generated?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Not that I've heard, granted, like now that the Russos have said, no, that's not something I haven't heard about it since then.
Mhm.
Like all the scoop places drop that real fast. Uh, but the Russos have said a few other things as well. Um, Starting with that Doomsday and Secret Wars, they're going to draw loose inspiration from the 1980s and 2010 Secret Wars comics. So don't expect a one for one, which I feel like is expected. Don't
So,
expect a one for one.
so expect the unexpected. Or no,
Yes.
don't expect the unexpected. No.
No. Expect the unexpected. Yes. That's
Oh,
the one that we want.
is it? Okay, good. My
Yes.
brain stopped about 30 seconds ago because all right.
Also, Doomsday is supposed to start filming in April.
That's next month. Woo,
Yes.
that's awesome.
And Scarlett Johansson says that she doesn't think Natasha will be or should be back for Doomsday slash Secret Wars based off of just like she sacrifices herself to save everybody in Endgame. There's not, it'd be, in some ways, it would kind of be like bringing back Tony Stark
Mhm.
at this point. So, granted, we're getting Robert Downey Jr. back as a different character, but yeah, I'm fine. Like, I respect that, and I don't need Natasha back for Secret Wars.
Doesn't she want to come back though? Uh,
No, but I mean,
Scarlett Johansson?
that
Doesn't
is her
she?
quote that she doesn't think Natasha needs to come back because
Oh,
she sacrificed. So,
oh. I mean, I agree. Like, doesn't he? But does she want to come back and do something? Like, whether
I
she's a different version thereof,
honestly, I think she probably just wants to stick maybe more on the production side of this at this point. She's probably going to be in multiple Jurassic movies coming up here, so
she just had a kid too, didn't she?
I think so, yes.
With
So it's like,
Colin Jost.
yeah, how much does she want to
Yeah.
be super active right now
Right. Does
with
she really
acting?
want to, yeah, have to go through that?
Yep.
physical change if needed or whatever.
Right. The physical change, but just the time commitment too.
Yeah.
Then one last Russo's quote, and this one was interesting. Endgame was an ending story. Doomsday and Secret Wars is a beginning story. So I'm going to be curious to see kind of how they tell that. Does that make sense to you, or did your brain shut off for another 30 seconds?
No, so Doomsday and Secret Wars is the beginning story,
Right. So I think they're talking kind of about that launch of a X-Men and all
right?
of that, where there's still going to be this epic, these epic moments, but when you think about Endgame and Infinity War, it was so much of that is about Natasha dying, Tony sacrificing himself. Both of them, like it was kind of the end of the OG Avengers at that point.
Yeah,
And there's kind of been this time here, some of it I think caused by COVID and stuff like that, but some of it also I think somewhat intentionally done, where the stories maybe felt a little bit more separated because the characters are separated. There is no Shield, there is no Avengers holding them together.
right.
And so we're going to see a formation of something new at the end of Secret Wars.
Sure. Yeah, that
Literally
does
a
make sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally a universe, but also probably through Doomsday and Secret Wars, different teams and stuff like that that will form together.
And that's kind of a good way to put it because there's been a lot of, I feel like, talk and mentions of there is no like Avengers team to focus around in this
Yeah,
phase. So, um,
really the past the yeah, phases 4 and 5. And it won't be until phase 6 where we get
oh,
Avengers.
that I guess that kind of helps me. I think not
Yeah.
expect like because I just been kind of expecting this to kind of come together and there'd be a group to come together and but
Yeah. Yep. So then other news. This one maybe could have fallen into the category of rumor, but a surprise hero showing up in Daredevil Born Again. So who do you think that surprise hero could be? I believe Spider-Man is very much off the table.
would be my I'd say Spider-Man. I don't know.
But Brad Winderbaum has said that Spider-Man is off the
I feel like
table.
I've lost you. Spider-Man's off the tape. Wait, you
Yep.
froze. Yep. Hold on
I
a
tr
second.
Yeah, Brad Winderbaum, like I said, has said that Spider-Man is off the table just because of rights stuff with Sony. Like Marvel Television doesn't really have rights to any of that, and I don't think Sony would want
Sure.
to loan out Spider-Man for a
Um,
show.
okay. So we know that there is a non-grounded villain, right? You're not like
Well, we're talking Daredevil though.
oh, I'm sorry. Not yeah. So sorry. I was I was looking at something else for a little while and turning off other Wi-Fi devices near me. Okay, so uh I'm trying to think what would they who would they tie in? I mean, She-Hulk is not gonna fit, right? Even though there's a
No,
tie in there, right? I'm gonna say no to that. Um Punisher's always already
no
that's
one. Yeah.
that's gonna be fine. Can't do Spider-Man. So
I mean,
who
Bucky or
Congress? I mean,
yeah, well,
uh,
where is he running for Congress? Is he running for Congress in the state of New York? Sure. Then it could be more of a political interaction between him and Fisk.
what about Luke Cage?
Yeah, Luke Cage, I mean, any of the Defenders, but from everything we've heard, they're not back yet. And kind of the conversation has been around, like, yeah, they might come back. We might bring back the other Defenders. So that would be a great misdirect on their behalf if it is Luke Cage.
Right. Or even Jessica Jones. I could
Yeah.
see that too.
What, not Danny Rand?
Who? I'm sorry. Sorry, Danny. Um, I mean, that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, that feels like it would. That'd be a weird thing to tease. I'm trying to think of like who else would be around New York. Uh, do we get a Kamala? Like we know her dad is in the show, so do we see Miss Marvel show up?
Are you with me?
Nope. Oh,
No?
did you hear my whole thing
Yeah.
about Miss Marvel, and then I heard nothing from you.
Oh, I said Ms. Marvel, but we must have like cut out or something like that.
Yeah.
So we are in agreement. Ms.
All right.
Marvel is the most likely because of her dad being in it.
Yes.
Which, man, for her lighthearted character, that'd be a transition.
Hmm.
Kind of weird. Maybe it's
I wonder.
Bruno. I don't know.
Well, but he's not a hero.
Superhero. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So I could see it being something where Fisk is coming down hard on vigilantism, and maybe she does something in New York because she's in Jersey City. Um,
Right.
and so now there's kind of a need for uh, legal help from the likes of Daredevil. So I think that
I'm
can make sense.
Yeah, I'm looking. I just looked up New York Marvel heroes. Strange.
Strange is off world right now.
Okay.
It could be
Um,
like Wong if he's in the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York for some reason.
True. I mean, Wong is yeah, that would kind of make sense, I guess. He likes to
Yeah.
move around a little bit, so
Yeah, we'll have to watch and see.
yep, I don't have any other ones, so I'll
Uh,
look.
yeah, so the Vision show has started filming.
Amazing.
I know, I'm
That
excited for that.
Yeah, it's just amazing that that is actually now in motion. I there was that time period where we're like, oh, sorry, Vision's probably off the board,
Yep.
and so that's good. Good to hear.
Yes, yeah, that's exciting. Then the final rumor here is Sadie Sink, or not rumor, piece of news here. Sadie Sink has been cast in Spider-Man 4. The In Snyder, Jeff Snyder, had originally, a few weeks ago, said that she was a front runner for Jean Grey. Now he has revised that and with this casting says that he believes it is for Mary Jane Watson. And Sadie Sink herself has said that she is playing Uncle Ben.
Yes,
Yes.
sure. Yes, good answer, by the way,
Hmm.
on Sadie's part.
Oh yeah.
Um, how do if they do MJ, is that
Yeah. Like
I don't
how
know.
how does that fit in to the
It's like
storyline?
it's in reverse, or it's like it's the opposite, right? Because MJ's typically the main love interest, but
Yep.
now you have the
MJ.
other, yeah, other MJ. So, what do you do with that? I don't know.
Yep. I think
Uh,
it could be maybe the less grounded means it's multiversal and she's an Mary Jane from another world, but still, what do you do with that? At the same time, like I did a video on this, and Sadie Sink has been rumored to be either Rogue or Jean Grey, and then Spider-Man 4 has been rumored to have either Black Cat or Gwen Stacy in it. So could she be a multiversal Gwen Stacy? Could she be like out of all the options with MJ on the table and those other four, which is the one that you like best?
Rogue. I want Rogue.
Yeah, that's the one I want as well.
Um, which I think fits best. Jean Grey, not necessarily for me. MJ
It
does, I don't know, and Gwen Stacy, but multiversal stuff. I just don't know. Are we gonna put that in there? Like it feels. Well, I guess it could. I mean,
yeah,
it's because it's coming out between what Doomsday and Secret
Secret
Wars,
Wars.
right?
Yep,
So,
currently it is.
right. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's possible. I still like Rogue though. I think
Mhm.
that's my choice.
Yeah. Rogue, I like Gwen Stacy. It doesn't have to be a multiversal Gwen Stacy. It could just be a Gwen Stacy who becomes Spider-Gwen in the main MCU timeline, too.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
Spider.
like, those are my two top options, I think.
Oh, I do like her as Spider-Gwen, though. That's true. But I think if we had Rogue in Spider-Man, I think that would create some pretty big hype. And
Yep.
yeah, I think I like that the best still.
Hmm. And I mean, Marvel does uh generally have one big character who Marvel themselves still have the rights to show up in a Spider-Man movie. So for a while there it was Happy Hogan who was consistently there, but then also like Doctor Strange shows up as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
have to introduce Rogue there or Jean Grey there would be interesting for sure,
it
though.
would. Yeah. Oh, uh, is it the time? Is it the place? I don't know.
Yeah, well, so much I feel like could that question can be what happens in Doomsday.
Right. Yeah. It. I'm gonna just stop thinking about it that side of it and just think
Yeah,
character-wise. I still think I like Rogue the best.
yeah,
Well, God, just I don't know. Whatever. Gwen Stacy
yeah.
or Rogue.
hmm So then the final piece of news here is actually unrelated to the MCU, anything like that. Marvel has collaborating with Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering to do a Spider-Man set coming out later this year, I believe, just before the holiday season. And they have released some artwork of some of the cards that are going to be kind of in the art box, is what they call them, where it's basically, if I remember correctly from Lord of the Rings one, it's eight different cards that form two rows of four. You put them all together, it's a picture.
Hmm.
So they've released some of the artwork for that, and the artwork looks very nice. But I'm sure, Greg, you don't have much to add to that as not
I
being.
I do not. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have much on the Magic Gathering or cards or any of that, but I do know what to get you for Christmas now. So
yeah, I
there you
appreciate
go.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than the used socks last year. Could
Yeah.
have at least
Well,
washed them first.
I mean, but who doesn't need socks? I mean, right? Especially ones that a mismatch. Maybe you find another match for the other one. I don't know. But
Yes.
you know, I just want to say don't expect Magic cards, but I'll keep it in mind.
All right. Sounds great.
Fair,
All
fair. All right.
right. Fair. So, non-spoiler thoughts for Daredevil Born Again episode 3. I want to kick this one off because I absolutely loved this episode. I thought there was so much emotion, and it was that nice trajectory for Daredevil and for why some things may be happening in the future episodes here, uh, and things that make Matt question what he's done and where he's at currently as compared to, say, where he was previously. Plus, yeah, the court case was great. The dynamic stuff between Wilson and Vanessa was really good as well. This episode, by the way, is at least the court piece of it was uh, episodes 1 and 2 before reshoots were done.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't I thought episode two was episode one originally, and episode
no,
three
uh,
for us is actually two for original.
so episode 2 had some elements of
Not in full, I shouldn't say
not in
that, but
full.
like
Yes,
mostly it was episode one. Then they added in.
yeah. I think that there was a decent chunk of episode 3 that would have been episode 1 as well.
Okay.
In there, just kind of looking at what was done. But yes, it was. That's you and I are on basically the same page slash understanding for it. So,
My the right as okay, so as it kicked off,
yep.
I don't want to go there yet.
No, no
Overall,
spoilers, dude.
yeah, right. Overall, it was a good episode, and it was I didn't we didn't get so much of the action, right, and the
hmm
Daredevil side of things, which it didn't seem absent, so that's a
No.
good sign for me. So, but there was a little bit of an aspect of the episode three that I was a little disappointed in. So I'll get into that later. But overall, I it was a good episode and it had a good ending on it.
hmm
And yeah, it was captivating, I thought.
Yes.
And so it just kind of brought me to the you know, how I'm gonna get into spoilers if I say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall,
I
I would give it a nine out of nope, 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I for me it was probably a 9 out of 10. Um, and I will say one last thing before we get into spoilers here is they've they've gotten better compared to the Netflix show of creating a TV show that feels like a TV show versus that. like they nail the pacing of it. I
Yeah,
would say every episode thus far for me has been better paced than anything that I saw from the Netflix Daredevil season one.
it's a little tricky for me because I kind of appreciated that about the Netflix, how I you really go through it. You know, you really kind of feel like even though sometimes it drags out. So I kind of miss it a little bit, but to your point, they have big Marvel has figured out, I think, how to give it that drama and feeling in a TV show format. So it's
Yes.
almost like you're watching SVU sometimes or one of those Law and Order shows. Like you feel it,
Hmm.
and but it's edited well enough to where they can squeeze it in that hour. So
Yes. Yep.
spoilers,
Spoilers, yes. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You have been warned. Spoilers.
spoilers. Okay.
So
Um,
let's start with the thing that you didn't like, and I'll disagree with you.
okay, perfect. I was waiting for this. I actually you might agree with me. Okay, so right off the bat, you have Matt in I think it's off the bat anyways in the episode. Matt's in the bathroom and
Yep.
he that cop that he absolutely destroyed in that apartment comes up
Yes.
to him, right? And I'm like, wait a second. Like you're telling me this dude is standing
Yes.
and with just like a little bit of a broken nose maybe or something like that.
Broken
And
nose, like very much like black and blue on the one side of the face that hit
yeah.
the
Was he the
it.
fridge guy?
I believe so, yes. Well,
Okay.
because the other one had a dislocated arm, so
Okay.
there was no
I,
sling or anything like that.
I just felt like that, like he crushed these guys. Like, and I swear to God, one of them died. So I didn't like the fact that it just
Yes.
kind of glossed right over that. Now, did I like the interaction that they had? Yes, I did. But
Hmm.
I was expecting there to be more at stake for what happened. And I think that right away let me down that those stakes just like poof disappeared, right?
Well, it was, and I think we're going to see that there is more at stake for Matt Murdock
I think
uh,
so too.
down the line. But that was one of the big points from people watching the show was that like, the cops can't admit they were there.
Right.
Like, if they admit that Daredevil was, or not Daredevil, Matt Murdock was the one who beat them up, well, they were going to shake down a witness. Um, then, so it makes sense why both of them are kind of playing around it. Like, hey, we know that, like, he calls him out for wearing the glasses indoors, which I think is just a reference to be like, yeah, you beat us up, no problem. And then, yeah, there were Matt takes a jab at him, all puns intended, about fast hands and like blocking punches
Right.
while on the stand. So I think it makes sense in some ways because they're in the courthouse in that scene. They can't admit like out loud in case somebody hears them of like you beat me up. Well, it does. Neither of them wants it to be said out loud in that setting.
So are you saying that you don't think the cop knows that he's Daredevil?
I don't think the cop knows he's Daredevil because Matt Murdock beat him up.
Right. But
But
I mean, the right
no,
away that cop comes in is like, yeah, he makes the mention of his blindness, but to me that's indicating, hey man, the
no,
things you did to us are
mhm.
very similar to what this other guy can do. I think he knows. I think the cops know, but they can't say anything because Matt knows that it's them. Matt
Yeah.
knows what they're up to
No,
in a sense.
yeah. The big thing that I would disagree with you on that
Well, that
with
cop's gonna
is
die, I would think, in the next two episodes, but that's
probably,
so I
yeah.
think the secret will be safe, but
Yeah. Well, the reason I don't think that they would think that he is Daredevil, one, he's blind. Nobody knows Daredevil's blind.
fair.
Like, Daredevil's just a vigilante in a mask. They would have no reason to assume that unless that officer has previously interacted, like on multiple occasions, with Daredevil and is very familiar with Daredevil, which it does not seem like that's the case. Why would he put those two things together? You were just beat up by a lawyer who I mean, who knows how he did it completely? They don't, but you were just beat up by a lawyer whose dad was a boxer, which I'm sure they know that.
Yeah, I'm still on the side that they know that it's him. But what doesn't, I guess, work with that is how fast the word would travel,
Oh yeah, like
right?
they wouldn't,
So,
they would immediately be blabbing it everywhere.
but I think the dig right away about the sunglasses is
No,
kind of to me,
that was a dig at a blind guy.
well, what was it? I swear, like to me, it seemed like it was more of a, hey, I know that you can see me kind of thing, or that it's you're putting on a show. That's how I
Yeah,
took it. So,
and might be that, but I mean, everybody actually knows that he is blind, and so I don't. Even if it is that dig, I don't think it's a dig at there would be any connection to Daredevil. Let's put it that way.
hmm,
Because again, why would they? Why would that assumption be made? Why not just assume that okay, he's lying, he's Spider-Man, or he's White Tiger at that point? Like they have no idea. So
yeah,
even if they think he's a vigilante, how will you land on Daredevil?
okay, it's a decent point, but in a comic book world.
Hmm.
In writing. Uh, it just I thought it was going to raise the stakes a little bit for
Yeah.
Matt, right? And now he doesn't really have to do anything, but he also
Hmm.
has this problem where people might know who he is, and maybe they start going after him or people he
Well,
knows. I don't know.
yeah, it's very much has raised the stakes in terms of Matt's dealing with the police. Is that like they were in a very neutral setting where neither side could really do anything in the court. But yeah, there's that faction of the police with the Punisher tattoos, jewelry, clothing, whatever it might be, who now will not they won't stand for it with Matt. Like they're going to be gunning for him, figuratively or
Right.
literally.
Yeah.
So it his actions in season two or episode two did raise the stakes. It just episode three was not a spot for those stakes to be paid off, and we got to see Matt be cocky about it because he knew they couldn't pay it off, which is going to piss them off even more.
Mm.
And so now Heather Glenn and Matt are probably in more danger than before.
Right. So as I'm gonna slide over to a different point
Yeah,
of this since I think yeah we'll that might pan out. We may figure out kind of what the answer is. Maybe they
yeah,
won't even touch it. Who knows? But I did want to ask you about Daredevil, right? Not being in this episode
yep,
at all.
yep. Didn't
How
care.
didn't care. Okay.
Yep.
How soon or do you think that they can pull that off numerous times in the city or in the city in the series, or are they
I
needing
th
to add Daredevil in now
so
through the rest of the way?
I think we see Daredevil in episode four, and then they're releasing five and six together. And I don't know that we get him in both of those episodes, but I think we see Daredevil in one of those episodes, and then we see him at least a little bit in every episode after that.
Yeah.
So I like Daredevil was not needed for this episode at all, but based off of the conversation, the, plural, I guess, that Matt had with Hector Ayala about like vigilantism and how Hector couldn't be the White Tiger anymore. Um, and Hector basically being like, no, it like you say that, but if you knew what it was like to be a vigilante, you knew that that is part of who you are. And as he said on the stand so many times, it's he helped people because it was the right thing to do. And now Matt is going to be struggling with that, I think.
Yeah.
And
It was
I
very much a comment. I mean,
yeah,
obviously it was directed right at Matt, even though the White
Hector didn't
Tiger,
know. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Which is the battle, right? That's the
Hmm.
battle that Matt faces all the time, is
Yep.
him and this other person that he is. So,
Yep.
um, interesting that, and it's not as, I wonder if the religion part is going to come back because that was a big thing in the Netflix
Hmm.
series was his faith. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They've hinted at it in episode two when he goes past the church.
Yeah,
So I think, yes, I think it is going to come back, at least to some extent.
sure. Um, I could see it being at the end of this season. Like he
Yeah,
maybe goes in and talks to a priest in there again or something, or he goes into
yeah.
confession, right?
hmm
Um,
It's Muse on the other side.
yeah, right. Whoops. Let's see. Okay. Speaking of Muse, wait,
We didn't see him at all. What,
did
except
right.
another graffiti mural.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna hold off on that question that I had.
All right.
That's kind of the big one. I'll say that for later. Let's see.
What do you think of Wilson and Vanessa and kind of the gangs going after each other?
I'm yeah, I'm trying to. It seems like okay, who is Vanessa sending? Like, who's her people doing, and what are they doing?
hmm
Fisk seems to maybe have some hand in some violence still, right? He seems to,
Yes. We
but you
see his
don't really
knuckles.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm wondering if he's actually just he's got all this pent up rage, right? And I
Yes.
think I know in the comics he had there's times like maybe you can hear my son's pent up rage right now. I'm not sure if he could, but he was screaming. I think in the comics he would do these battles. Like he would have all these people come at him and he would
Yes.
basically go toe to toe with them, right? A group of whoever, ninjas, or I don't know what it was. But I'm wondering if it's that kind of scene that we'll end up seeing, like pay a
hmm
little bit of a tribute to what was in the comics, but also it's a way for him to get that edge off that he's got. And that's why we see the knuckles. And it's not so
Yeah.
much he's doing thing now, unless I think this I saw somebody mention this on the break room. Is it him beating down Vanessa's boyfriend or whoever she had slept
Yeah.
with, right?
But he had said he would leave it alone. I
Right.
think
Yeah, he's
it's
kind of a man
more
of honor for that, oddly.
I think it's going to be more potentially uh, the first thing you said, kind of that idea of him getting out his rage by just having a whole bunch of people come and trying to attack him, and he just beats down on them, or he's like has a an area that he goes to and he's trying to control his rage, and so he's like hitting a wall or something like
Yeah,
that.
right. Okay, this was kind of a crazy idea that I had, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a time to really think it through, so I'm just going to spit out what I originally thought. What if at the end of the season, or maybe at the end of the season, or as a cliffhanger for the finale of it, like so the amulet. Well, I'm obviously hinting at what happens to White Tiger at the end, but
Yeah.
what if he gets his hands on an amulet? What if Fisk ends up with the amulet and that's how he gets, I don't know, it's a little bit of extra strength. Which it's kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous, but and it doesn't seem necessary, but at the same time,
It doesn't
I
seem
was
necessary, and they also have already introduced the niece. And like Hector Ayala was the White Tiger in the 1970s in the comics,
right.
and it's been Hector Ayala's niece who has been the uh, like the White Tiger since. And so I think it's more likely that she, at the end of it, is going to take on that mantle.
Yeah, I was thinking because I know that yeah, his niece she kind of takes it on after him, but I was thinking, well, what if maybe to up the stakes a little bit at the end, like because why not get the amulet?
Yeah,
Whoever shot him, right? Grab the amulet because that's cool. Uh, I would.
but they didn't.
They didn't. Well, that we saw, but like
Right.
I was thinking,
Well, we
Fisk gets
saw,
the amulet.
yeah,
He has this extra power at the end. And then we'll say Daredevil defeats him somehow, and then takes the amulet, gives it to Denise.
yeah.
I don't know.
I I don't think Fisk would do that because uh, you were talking about how he's weirdly honorable.
I know.
Uh, and so I think we're going to see played out through some of this season and maybe including into next season this idea of a vigilante act, like an anti-vigilante. And that's really the platform that he ran on. So it would be hypocritical of him to take the amulet and gain powers from it. And I don't think he would be able to live with himself being that hypocrite.
Unless Matt Murdock takes down Vanessa as a crime boss, and
Mm,
then he gets really super mad. I don't know.
yeah,
It's very comic. It feels more like the Ben Affleck Daredevil, I know,
yeah.
but it was just a thought, like the amulet, like why not take it? What if it got into Fisk's hands? Fisk now has that kind of more that strength that everybody
Hmm.
says, doesn't seem to really be there in this series. So, um,
Yeah.
I don't really know what that amulet does. I was just envisioning like he busted and put it into his like cuffs, like his for
Hmm.
his suits and shirts. I don't know. Totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was my quick thought as
Hmm.
I'm repairing my sink in my bathroom. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I do think we're gonna see some more of that conflict though, and I don't necessarily know that Vanessa's gonna get busted in this season, but I do think like maybe BB Ulrich, she's going to find something out about Vanessa and put that out on her report somehow. And so I think you may be onto something there where she's kind of outed as a crime boss. Um, and now Fisk is having to, and there'll be accusations made of Fisk that because he is banning vigilantes, he's doing that so that his wife can succeed as a crime boss.
yeah.
And so I think for Fisk, it's going to be more political in nature.
I was thinking because I don't know, but I was kind of curious whether I don't remember Vanessa, the actor who plays Vanessa, but I think if she doesn't make it through the season,
Hmm.
and that's what triggers Kingpin to really go off the charts, and kind of be the catalyst to him really being a crime boss again, uh, like voted out somehow, or
Yeah.
he's I don't know. I'm just wondering if they're not planning on having her come back. In
Yeah.
the season, that I could see her getting killed off, and that's going to be a big thing that also Matt somehow is held responsible for by Kingpin,
Hmm.
right? And then so it's that forever.
To me, that feels like a season two thing
Okay,
because I think they want to, uh, you don't want to have it just be really short with Kingpin as mayor. I think there's good story to be told
that's
there.
fair. Yeah,
So,
I could agree with that. I don't
yeah.
really want Vanessa to go because I really kind of I like what they're doing with her as a
Yes.
crime boss, and I think there's a lot because man, is it creating some nasty tension between him and or her and Fisk, right? It's
Yeah.
like
It's so good
yeah,
in a
so
in a bad way.
yeah, right. I could definitely use some more of those therapy sessions.
Conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can use some therapy sessions myself, but I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah.
to witness theirs because it's really it make just to make give you that discomfort in watching what's happening between those two. Because it's like
So,
it's secrets and it's like, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? And yeah, it's a good dynamic. I like it.
yeah. And I
No
think,
yawning, no yawning.
sorry, uh, I do think we should talk about Hector Ayala's death and kind of how that occurred
Right.
too. So
Uh,
he gets acquitted,
did you know what was
which
happening, by the way? Did you know that was going to happen?
that he be acquitted or that
No.
he be
Did
killed.
you? Yeah, killed.
No,
Because I guess
I
there was a little bit of some footage out there of the
yes,
reshoots and stuff like that. And so I think Eric Voss said he had kind of saw it coming, but I did not.
but
So,
but if you watch his reaction, it's I think I don't think he fully knew because he is like crying with such an emotional reaction to it.
oh, was in the sneak peek, or did they do an after show thing
They
that
did a
okay,
reaction. Yep.
I didn't see that, but I heard them talking about it, and I was like, are we talking about real crying here? What's going on? So
Yes.
that was in the break room,
Yep.
after show something, whatever.
That they were talking about that, and then
Yeah.
also there's a reaction video that he and Jessica Clemens do for it. And Jessica was just mad because they do such a good job of in basically one episode getting you to love the character. And it's
Right.
especially tragic too because like it's such a great performance and the actor passed away 2 months ago
Oh yeah, that's
or a
right. I
few
keep
more
forgetting that.
maybe than
Yeah.
that from cancer. So, but he's entrapped basically. Uh, he hears somebody shouting for help, and as the
Yes.
hero who's going to do the right thing, he goes to help whoever that is.
Am I
And
losing you again?
then somebody steps out of the shadows and comes up next to him and shoots him in the side of the head. And
Ugh.
then we see that person walking away. and that person is wearing a Punisher vest, like a bulletproof vest.
Yep. That was
And
brutal. Man, I didn't
yeah,
see it coming. I mean, I kind of thought maybe like because he really put himself out there, or like Matt actually
yeah,
made him really be put out there. But I did not expect to the head right there. Oh,
yep.
it's graphic. But um,
And then like the person walks away s- very nonchalantly. So that was interesting as well.
right. I guess there was some conversation somewhere about, why is he wearing this? Why did he have the big emblem, right? Right. The
Yep.
tattoos were kind of just the little signature of, hey,
Well, the one was a
but
neck tattoo. It was
well,
fairly
I mean,
obvious.
it's fairly there,
Yeah,
right? But it's not like you're wearing a t-shirt
right.
and flaunting it as you just take out this super or this hero, right? So, um, but I think that's all just more of it's just to really bring it home. I don't think there's really much more to look into it than that.
Yeah,
Um, and and obviously the character that shot him was a part of the group. It's not Frank Castle,
yep.
but it's obviously where we're gonna now probably see Frank Castle. Somehow I think what I'm guessing that they're gonna have video footage, and the video footage will probably show somebody with this the Punisher
Mhm. I think
emblem,
yeah. I'm not gonna
and
say video footage, but I'm gonna say a witness will talk about it
sure,
on the BB report.
yeah, and so that's where it will Matt will go find Frank, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was yeah, it was a sad ending, but
Hmm.
it definitely it was a good ending because it that's where I was like, oh, okay. Now I want it to be Tuesday, right? So
Yep. Well, I'll watch it on Wednesday because it's late on Tuesday that comes out.
what time did it come out on Tuesday? I thought
Uh, uh,
like 2 in the morning on Wednesday?
no.
Or it's
For
actually Tuesday.
it's actually Tuesday, but I think it's like 10 p.m. our time
Oh, I
on
don't think I've
Tuesday.
watched it on Tuesday actually, to be honest with you. Now that I think about it, it's always been a day
Yep.
or two later. So,
Yes.
um,
So, what else do you want to talk about?
um,
I like the scene where Matt finally talks about Foggy with Heather.
oh yeah, that's right.
That was
Um,
pretty sure that was
who's he having that conversation with?
what with Heather Glenn because he's making dinner for her. And
Sorry, my internet must be just
my
no
goodness,
bueno.
Greg,
I
come on.
know.
I pay you
I
so much money.
You
Your
don't pay me enough
internet's like,
for. Can I get a dial-up, off the dial-up modem, Petter? Can you pay me just a
uh,
little bit more for, I don't know, I'll use a hotspot. I don't care. Just
I'll consider it in the future here. Uh,
um I don't even know what I was saying at this point. I forgot.
you were trying to
Um
remember, I think, when the conversation about Foggy occurred,
oh,
maybe?
I do, yeah, I do remember, yeah. I remember the conversation. I'm just trying to think who that was with.
Heather Glenn.
Was it Heather? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they were having a date evening. He was making
Oh yeah,
pasta
that's right.
and all that, and just kind of talking about the kind of what he and Foggy used to do when they first started out as lawyers, how they bought this bottle of bourbon.
Bourbon whiskey or what? Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, it was just a nice conversation. And I think it's going to be, we'll see if that gets paid off in any way. But it was just like a nice character, like processing moment for Matt.
Yeah, it was weird how he had kind of that smile on his face the whole time too. Like it was believable, but yet you kind of know that there's a lot still underneath there.
Hmm.
How long had it been? Has it been since the death in this show?
Uh, Over a year.
Okay,
So I think like there was, I think this was the first time that he was kind of able to look back fondly on Foggy
sure.
and not just think of the death. So that's kind of how I took it, and with
Hmm.
his kind of being like, yeah, we got a moment here.
We're having a moment, having a
Hmm.
Maddie moment. Um, and wow, like Heather's like a horny girl because I feel like she
Well,
was putting the moves on him. Like
yeah, Matt's hornier.
that's true.
He's by far the horniest character in the MCU.
I mean, all senses are enhanced, right? So
Yep.
I guess no hymns for him. That was a
But
we're not promoted by anybody of that nature. So
we're not promoted by anybody, full stop.
yeah, full stop on that. But if you would like to, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um, send a free sample for Petter? I don't know, whatever. Um, I don't know. Otherwise, that to me, I didn't have any other notes written down about it.
Yeah.
I
So
think it's doing
the
well.
last,
It's good so far. Like
yeah,
it's what it needs to be, and
yes.
they're tighten up. They have tight episodes, and we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen in next episode? Any predictions?
It feels like Frank Castle is gonna he's gonna be sought out just to get some answers as to maybe what's going on. You know, Matt will try and find him. So I think that that's what the focus will be. What because it'll be episode 4 and 5,
Nope, four.
just
Just
four,
four.
and
Then
then
five and six the following
okay.
week. So I think they're holding off on like Matt Castle fully being back. I do think Matt probably finds Matt Castle
Wait,
this
Matt
episode.
Castle or Frank
Frank
Castle?
Castle. Frank Castle
Okay.
this episode.
I'm like, there's
Yeah.
a new character here. We need to
No.
talk about the new character.
Yeah. Frank Castle. Um, yeah, you've heard me on. You know that I'm tired.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's fair.
I think he finds him. I think we see like the BB report of the a witness being like somebody in a Punisher shirt. And I think we get more of the storyline with Fisk and anti-vigilante kind of legislation or like trying to get a rule placed around that. And
Yeah.
so I think that's what we're going to get this episode four, and then five and six will be Frank Castle with Matt.
Yeah, I could now that I was because I was thinking 4 and 5 were
Yeah,
together, but 5 and 6
yeah.
are together. There, yeah, you would expect it to maybe be Frank Castle in this next one because of the person who killed Victor, but and what they were wearing. But I could see them holding out just a little bit longer for that and
Hmm.
setting up a little bit more of the anti-vigilante thing. Maybe we get a little bit more about what Vanessa's doing
Yep.
and
Or more of what Fisk's doing
or
to
right.
keep on ending up with the bloody fist.
Right.
And
I think the Bloody Fist is we're gonna get that maybe
towards the end of the season.
yeah, maybe like episode 7. Um here okay, so I had a question. Aside
Yeah.
from Fisk or Matt, who's your favorite character that you're enjoying the most?
Um, that is a good question. I think probably Cherry.
Okay.
Cherry's just a fun character, and I like him as the cop, ex-cop, who now is working with Matt and whoever, I'm blanking on the gal's name.
Oh, the his lawyer
Yeah, his partner at
yeah.
the firm. Um, but I just like him because unfortunately, he feels like the type of character who may die in the show.
Yeah, that's
But he's willing to he's willing to put his neck out there and help Matt, and he's willing to do kind of sketchy things like get drugs for
yeah,
Nikki.
which is kind of weird. Like that's I is this character also in the comics that I just
I don't think so. I don't remember him being
like
in
a
the
weird odd
comics.
reference somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that Matt's got this like not a hitman, but like he's got a
You get
bodyguard in a way.
PI,
A PI.
not really
Okay,
bodyguard,
sure, sure.
because he knows that Matt is Daredevil.
Yeah, right. So
He
I don't
knows that
know.
he doesn't have to protect Matt. He just can do some of the more investigatory stuff that, like searching for inanimate objects, that Matt would not be able to do being blind.
Well, he can see tattoos, right? Or hear
That's
tattoos? No, I'm just
that's the
kidding.
joke, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I still feel like the character that Vanessa still stands out to me. Like
Yes. Oh, good
I
too.
and that made me even think of like who else is in this show. I mean, besides the woman we can't remember that Matt's in business with.
Mhm.
Karen Page is off in LA again or over in
San
California,
Francisco.
San Fran. Foggy's obviously dead.
Yep.
Who we got the tracksuit gang guys. And we have who else is
So
really I guess Fisk's right-hand man, the British dude.
Hmm.
Who, I don't know. Do you think we're gonna see a power broker thing in here, or do you think that's gonna? Do
No,
you think they're just gonna leave that as a just not touch it? It goes in the vault, the
if
whoops, we messed that up vault, and we'll leave
yeah,
it. Or
yeah,
Sharon.
I think it's going to be one of those things. If they come up with an Armor Wars story that they really like, they'll bring back up the Power Broker again and do all of that in there.
Oof.
But I don't think they're going to bring up the Power Broker. I don't think they're going to bring up anything like that. I do like that kind of right-hand man there. BB Urick
Oh,
is good too.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. The intern guy, the kid,
Um, Michael Gandolfini, or
yeah,
yeah,
his character. Well, his is he the son? No, is that
he is the
yeah,
son
yeah,
of James Gandolfini.
yeah. He's kind of interesting, but
Hmm.
again, I'll circle back. Vanessa's still my
Yeah,
most intriguing other character that I'm
yeah.
enjoying. So
I want to see more from Heather.
yeah, I know. Like she kind of pulls you in a little bit, right? That's it.
A little bit, but they haven't done enough with her yet.
Yeah,
Like it's an interesting duo with Matt and Heather and kind of their relationship, but I want to see something more from her character to give her character a little bit more depth. And that might be more in the second half of the season as we start to dive into Muse.
yeah. I think Muse is gonna get her. And then she's gonna try to do her psychology thing on him, and we'll see a little bit more out of her at that point, I
Yeah.
think. So
Yeah. Yeah, but there you have it. A whole bunch of thoughts on Daredevil Born Again. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below on YouTube or over on Facebook by searching for 10 Minute Marvel. But just want to again say thank you so much for checking out the podcast. Greg gave a few ways you can help support the podcast at the beginning, but we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, maybe even Greg's internet. We'll see about that.
hopefully.
The 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel, the Months and Meeples YouTube channel, and the nerdologist.com website. But with that, we'll see you next time.
Peace.